What's up guys, Sean Nalawani, SeanNal.com, RealScienceAthletics.com, and in this video today I want to talk about one of the main reasons why so many people out there who begin a muscle building program never see any significant results over the long term. And it's quite simply because they don't understand what the true purpose of their workouts is, and they're just focused on the wrong things every time they go into the gym. Now, before we get started here, if you're new to the channel and you do find this information helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below to keep yourself up to date on future videos, and also make sure to follow me over on Instagram as well. When I'm not here on YouTube, that's where you'll find me. I post there every single day with a variety of different fitness tips, workout clips, meals, and other updates. So don't miss out on that either. It's at Sean_Nalawani. So let's get this straight here. Building muscle is not about getting a huge pump. It's not about feeling the burn during your exercises. It's not about making yourself as tired and sore and sweaty as possible after the session. And it's not about special techniques like supersets or drop sets or forced reps or things like that. Now, all of those things can have their place, okay? It's normal that you're gonna get a pump during your training. It's normal that your muscles will burn during your sets. It's normal to be tired and sore afterwards to some degree. And certain advanced techniques can be thrown into the mix here and there as well if they're used properly. But none of these things actually get to the real heart of what consistently building muscle is actually about. What building muscle is really about is improving your training performance over time. All those other things I just mentioned, pump, burn, soreness, those will all occur as a natural byproduct of striving for improved performance in the gym, but they aren't the actual limiting factors when it comes to stimulating growth. But the problem is that most people in the gym get this completely backwards. So they're going into the gym with no set plan in place. They're basically just winging it each time, not tracking anything concretely in terms of their weight and reps for each lift, and essentially just training until they feel that burn, they get that pump, until they're sweating and fatigued, and they assume that if they just show up and quote unquote get a good workout in, and they just do that over and over again, that that's what they need in order to see results. And usually that is still gonna produce results to some degree, and your performance will naturally improve over time as well. But a lot of times those results will only come in the initial stages, because newbies in the gym can pretty much do almost anything and still see gains for the first few months. But then eventually the results will plateau, or you will continue seeing gains longer term, but they'll just come at a much slower pace and you'll never quite break through to those higher levels. So if you want to maximize your gains and build muscle at an optimal rate all the way up to your genetic potential, you need to flip these things around. So stop worrying about all this extra sort of bodybuilding fluff and instead get right down to the core of what muscle growth is really about, which again is about improving your training performance over time, or progressive overload as we usually call it. So right now, as you sit there watching this video, your muscles have within them a certain finite strength capacity. So they have a certain ability to perform physical tasks. And the way you stimulate your body to build upon its existing muscle mass is by challenging that current strength capacity to trigger an adaptive response, and then continually building on that to higher and higher levels over time. So if you're constantly performing tasks that are already well within your muscle's current ability, even if it burns or it produces a pump or creates some soreness, your body still has no real incentive to make any significant changes because it already has the ability to do those things, or at least it only has a minimal to moderate incentive. And so the resulting gains will also be minimal to moderate. So it's only when you attempt something you've never done before that your body is forced to adapt and to become bigger and stronger in response to it. And that can take a lot of different forms in the gym. It can mean adding more weight to the bar, performing more reps with the same weight, keeping your weight and reps the same, but adjusting the way that you perform the lift to make it more difficult. So maybe slowing down the negative, or implementing a static hold on either end of the rep, or just making the lift more mechanically challenging using a different form. It can also mean performing more total volume. It can mean using a higher frequency. There are a lot of different forms of progressive overload that ultimately can be used. If you're still a beginner to intermediate lifter, then basic weight and rep increases are where the majority of your focus should go, because that's the simplest and most reliable way to make progress over time. And then once you've built up a good size and strength foundation and you've become more advanced, then you can start implementing some of these other methods. But regardless of which method you use, again, the bottom line is that you need to stop winging it in the gym, and you need to start getting more analytical and more concrete when it comes to your training performance. So each time you go into the gym, you should know exactly what you did last time in terms of exercises, weight used, reps executed, and any other important notes. And you should know exactly what you need to do this time in order to improve upon that previous performance in some way, even if it's just doing one extra rep with the same weight. So you should have it all clearly written down, whether it's in a training logbook or in your phone, so you know exactly where you stand at any given time and what has to be done to just get a little bit better. And this is something that so few people do in the gym, which is a big part of the reason why, if you just look around, most people in the typical average gym only get modest results at best. They either aren't striving for concrete progressive overload at all, or they are, but because they don't write their workouts down and they aren't being precise about it, they don't progress nearly as quickly as they could be. When you actually write things down, you'll progress much faster because all of your objectives during each workout will be right there in front of you. And if you fail to improve on your previous performance, you'll be able to clearly see it. So your training logbook is going to keep you accountable every time you go into the gym. On top of that, it's also going to let you know whether or not your muscle building progress is actually moving in the right direction. Because if your performance in the gym is plateaued, if you're not getting stronger in some capacity every week or at least every couple weeks, then you'll know that something is off and that adjustments need to be made. And I did a video that outlines 12 fixes that you can apply if your strength has plateaued, and I'll link that in the description box below if you want to check that out. And then of course, on the other hand, if you are seeing continual improvements in your performance over time, then you'll know that you're generally on the right track. Your workouts are successfully triggering an adaptive response, you're resting adequately, and your nutrition is at least good enough to allow those adaptations to take place. And maybe there are some things that you can do to speed up your results even further, but you at least know that you're moving in the right direction. If you're like most people in the gym who are just chasing after the pump and bouncing around from exercise to exercise without any real clear idea of what they're doing, then you have no concrete way of measuring this. And that's why most people just end up running in circles with their programs. So I've been repeating this pretty much like a broken record since 2005, but progressive overload is the ultimate bottom line when it comes to building muscle. It's the final verdict on whether you're successfully stimulating muscle growth over time. And all these other factors, pump, burn, soreness, fatigue, these are just automatic byproducts of that process, but by and large, they aren't the things that you need to be specifically striving for. If you found this helpful and you want to learn exactly how to optimize progressive overload so that you can build muscle in the most efficient way possible, the ideal weekly workout split, exercise selection, volume, rep ranges, etc., then make sure to take my physique quiz over at quiz.seannall.com, because that'll hook you up with the proper training plan as well as the proper nutrition plan that you need based on your specific body type, goals, and experience level. You can click at the top of the screen for that or use the link in the description box. When it comes to supplementation, you can also visit realscienceathletics.com to check out my research-backed, clinically dosed supplements that I personally formulated to help fully streamline your program and get the very best results possible. Link is also in the description. And as always, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already in order to stay in the loop on future videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.